In terms of winters here in Minneapolis, it's been rather balmy, definitely below standard here up north. And speaking of standards, the banners are set and the standards are set. The University of Minnesota wants to hang more of those, and they're going to host Nebraska for the first time here tonight as a Big Ten Conference partner. Welcome in. So glad to have you with us. Lisa Byington alongside the 9-time Michigan All-American Kylie Kalorick. You know her as Kylie Bauderman, the NCAA All-Around champ. We also know Nebraska as a former Big 12 champ and now competing in the conference. What does that add to the Big Ten?
Nebraska being in the Big Ten is a great addition for the conference. They are a powerhouse program that's only going to better the conference all around.
And head coach Dan Kendick has a luxury in that last weekend he went with 6 all-arounders. Now we won't see that this weekend, but we will see one who's a freshman, a Minnesota native, and she is performing way beyond her years.
She is. Jessie Dalziel is a 5-time Big Ten Freshman of the Week, a 4 out of 5-time all-around title winner. The only time she didn't win an all-around title was when her teammate Laura Evanstad, who is a senior, took that from her. Laura is a 2-time All-American and helped take her team to the Super 6 last year, where they ended up taking 4th in the nation.
And Evanstad is normally an all-rounder. We will see her just competing on bars, just trying to keep her healthy. Minnesota's side, the Gophers competed in the Best of Minnesota meet last weekend, and it was really the best of Kayla Slechta.
Kayla did have a season best, a career best last weekend. Also, last year, only as a freshman, she went to the NCAA championships by herself. It's a huge motivation, huge confidence booster for Kayla, and she's going to use that experience to help the team and bring the team with her, hopefully, this year to nationals.
Definitely invaluable, and she is definitely one of the leaders. We are excited to watch her and this matchup. Minnesota and Nebraska tumbling right at you. The first rotation's around the corner. BTN Women's Gymnastics is brought to you by Alpha Factor. Compete with confidence. High above the Wells Fargo Bank building, what a sight that is. What a beautiful campus the University of Minnesota has. You have the city life and the downtown area. Just miles away is the campus life, where the Nebraska Cornhuskers are invading for the first time as a Big Ten Conference opponent. What a program they bring here to Minneapolis. Tied for the best finish in school history last year, 4th in the NCAA's Super 6. But looking at the series note here, this is actually the first head-to-head dual meet between these two teams, but the history goes deeper than that. Nebraska leading the all-time in the first meeting in Minnesota since 2004. Taking a look at the lineups here for this first rotation. We start with Minnesota. We start with the vault. Dusty Russell, Shannon Golich, Chenny Covers, Lucianis, Sierra Thompson, and Kayla Slechta. Over for Nebraska, the Huskers will start out on bars. Emily Wong will be the leadoff. Jamie Schleppenbach, Jessie Dalziel, Brittany Skinner, Janelle Giblin, and Laura Evanstad. We talked about her at the top. And the legendary coach, his 19th year at Nebraska, Dan Kendick. He was hired in 1993. He's a 2-time National Coach of the Year in 99 and 2003. He will compete against Meg Stevenson. How impactful has she been here in Minneapolis? How about this? A U of M donor endowed a scholarship in her name, the Meg Stevenson Scholarship for Women's Gymnastics. She is in her 3rd year as a solo head coach at Minnesota because she had been co-head coaches with her husband, Jim, who is now a volunteer assistant. You see him there. They had been co-head coaches together in this program. You don't see that too much, Kylie Kalorick.
You do not. That is a very unique thing they have going on there.
Now a volunteer assistant. He gave up that head coaching spot prior to 2010. He's had some surgery on his shoulders and his ankle. Unable to spot, unable to be as active as he wanted to, but now he's a volunteer assistant. And Dusty Russell from Oshkosh, Wisconsin will get things started here for us tonight. The first of 2 events that Russell will lead off in.
the landing, but a great leadoff vault.
Coach said that she had notable upgrades on the vault, did not twist last year.
Correct. She did not twist last year. She's twisting this year. Very consistent so far all year. Nice block, and you can see her arms let her body rise in the air before she twists that vault.
A high five from the coach. That'll bring us over to Nebraska on the bars. Emily Wong will get things started, and man, did she get things started last weekend in the Masters Classic. Kicked things off with a 9.8, the sophomore did. Here she is tonight.
Which says she's great in the leadoff position. She's a first-team All-American last year on this event. Beautiful dinger. She actually missed that release move in warm-ups. And here she goes, preparing for her dismount. Stuck dismount, great leadoff routine for Nebraska on
She got
bars.
a fist pump from Dan Kendig when she landed on that one. Take another look.
Very nice release. Beautiful combination into the low bar as well.
And the dismount, Kylie.
Her feet do not move on that dismount. A little feet separation in the flipping, but they did not move on that landing.
Going back to Minnesota, Dusty Russell recorded a 9.85. That's actually a season high for her on the vaults. So getting things started very favorably here for Minnesota. Shannon Golich here, a junior. We will see her in 3 other events here tonight.
Which also does a Yurchenko full. A little bit larger hop than the last performance on vault we saw.
And how much does a larger hop affect your score?
I would say maybe 2/10 would be a nice deduction there.
Coach liked it. Meg Stevenson said she had an upper leg injury, a muscle strain, so we kind of babied that a little bit with her, kind of making sure that she was healthy and ready to go.
Very important, Lisa. It's a very long season.
Jamie Schleppenbach here competing as the second gymnast here from Nebraska on the bars.
She has a blind half pirouette into a beautiful Tkachev, which is her major release. Bail handstand. Schleppenbach's career high is a 9.775 on this event. A nice double layout dismount, small step on the landing. That's her release move, the Tkachev. Gets nice height in the air on that.
Come on, Cubby!
And her dismount, Kylie.
Nice tap into the double layout. A little leg separation. And she throws her head back. She likes that routine. Great first performances for Nebraska.
As we go back, and Shannon Golich from Minnesota on the vault recorded a 9.775. And here is Jenny Covers.
That was a very nice vault. You can see it rise off of the table. Covers actually had the highest score last weekend at their home meet on vault. Quick steps down the runway. Right there, you can see it rise before she actually twists the layout.
Meg Stevenson said, you know, no one really knew who she was. She kind of came out of nowhere. Jenny Covers now competing and making a difference here as a freshman. And Jessie DeZiel, we had talked about her, this freshman phenom here for Nebraska, a Minnesota native. We know that some of her family is here watching. Just a freshman and an all-arounder here for Nebraska.
Jessie starts off with a blind into a piked Jaeger. Bail handstand down to the low bar. And here she goes into her tough pull-out dismount.
How about that landing?
That's why she's their #1 all-arounder right now.
Just a freshman.
Plants her feet. She doesn't have any separation, knees or ankles in that flip.
And celebration with the teammates. Speaking of Schleppenbach, who before her tied her season high on the bars of 9.775, we head back to the vault. Lucy Ennis, a senior. Roseville, Minnesota is her hometown.
Has not done vault yet this season. Front handspring, pike front, very nice height, very dynamic vault. Just a little bit larger step than she probably would have liked to on that landing.
And the deduction for that is, in your mind?
I would say about 1/10 to 2/10. Nice block, rises off the table, and just could have opened up a little bit earlier to find that landing.
So while Lucy Ennis waits for her score, we head back to bars. And Brittany Skinner, a junior. Another one of those all-arounders for Nebraska.
Skinner is going to start off with a blind half into a very dynamic Takache. Very nice combination there. She did her release move right into a release move to the low bar. And here we see a nice double layout dismount. Takes a little step on that landing as well.
Perhaps the Huskers can afford a little step. They've been solid here so far with their scores. Take another look. A major release.
Release right into that bail handstand. And here's her double layout dismount, legs together the whole time. Just came out a little bit early and had her chest down, making her take that extra step forward.
Her teammate before her, Jessie DeZio, recorded a 9.85 on the bars. We head back to the vault. Sierra Thompson, a freshman. Now, Minnesota has had 3 freshmen really who have contributed. Thompson is one.
Same entry as the last vault. That's a front handspring pike half. The last vault we saw was just a pike, no twist. This one has a half twist, which adds difficulty to the vault.
Take another look.
Long strides down the runway. Nice block on the front of the table there. Looks like she's almost going to stick that. Has to take a little bit of a step backwards.
What affected that step backwards?
Maybe she was double guessing herself. She looked like her eyes were on the ground. She knew where she was the whole time.
And we got a real treat for you. Janelle Giblin here, #1 in the country.
Janelle has won 4 out of 5 bar titles so far this season.
She is a good one on this event.
I would say so. That was a beautiful combination. She ends with a tuck full out dismount. Beautiful.
Good.
That's why she's #1 in the nation.
Actually, the Huskers come strong in the 5th and 6th spot on this event.
Ginger, immediate overshoot. Flawless routine for Janelle. Everything is squeezed tight. Sees the ground and nails it.
And she knew it. You could tell by her face. You know when it's good.
I saw her stick a couple of those dismounts in warm-ups as well.
Probably building her confidence a little bit. We head back to the vaults. Kayla Selecto, we talked about her in the open. She's the anchor here on the vault. Her teammate Sierra Thompson before her tied a season high at 9.825. Here is the sophomore Selecta.
Watch her body position in this Rodchenko full. Extremely laid out. I saw her doing some drills beforehand.
What do you mean drills?
She was standing on the table. A lot of gymnasts do this just to prepare your landing and know where you are off the table, and was sticking them all with an extremely laid out body position.
And the difficulty of that is how? How do you measure that?
The difficulty of the drill, this vault, a lot of gymnasts compete it, but it is a 10.0 start value.
And the senior, Laura Evanstad. a two-time first-team All-American. This will be her only event here tonight. Normally an all-arounder here from Nebraska, so enjoy, folks. She's a good one. This is her only event here this evening.
Blind full into a blind half. Straddle Weaver for Laura. Fail handstand. Laura is a beautiful bar worker. Sad we won't be seeing her the rest of the night.
Well, we tried to get Coach to get her on the floor at least, but Evanstead, how good is she? Very good.
Nails the landing.
Probably the most talented to ever come through Nebraska. Her coach says that is high praise.
Here we see her release from high to low. Fail handstand. We see setting up the dismount. A lot of girls have been doing the tuck full out. Very difficult dismount, and she nails it.
She's pretty happy. She had one event to do and knocked it out there. Laura Evanstead. We had some solid routines here for both teams, Minnesota and Nebraska. When we come back, the two will switch.
Hi, I'm Jessie DeZio. I'm from Minnesota, and I just want to give a shout out to my friends, family, all the relatives that are going to be here, and everyone else who's going to be supporting the Cornhuskers.
Hi, I'm Laura Evanstead with the University of Nebraska. I'm a senior this year, and it's been a great experience. Go Big Red.
Go Huskers!
One way to watch the Nebraska powerhouse gymnastics team is to go to BTN to go, because it goes where you want, when you want it. With BTN to go, presented by Auto Owners Insurance, watch live games and BTN original programming like the Journey Big Ten Basketball 2012 on your computer, tablet, smartphone. BTN to go is available at no extra charge to subscribers who receive BTN through their cable, satellite, or participating video providers. To learn more, visit btntogo.com. Minnesota's results, actually both teams' results for Nebraska on the bars and Minnesota there on the vault. Nebraska holding the slight edge after the first rotation. All right, we got to get you caught up here after the first rotation, and Minnesota on the vault there. And the best one, Kayla Slechta, go figure.
Kayla had an awesome vault. Same with Dusty. She was their leadoff and had the second highest score for the team, which is very rare.
Russell the leadoff and Slechta the anchor over for Nebraska. Their bars and their scores individually, a pair of 9-9s.
Janelle, no surprise there. She's ranked #1 in the country. And Laura, like I said, one of their top all-arounders. And we're only seeing her on bars, but she hit it.
She did. Nebraska ranked 4th in the country. They're on bars. We're looking forward to seeing them #3 in the country for vault. The start of the second rotation, we look at Desiree Stevens. You asked Coach about her mindset here, because this is really the first competition for her in this event. She mentioned the leg injury that she had with the stress reaction.
I'm sure she's nervous, but I'm sure she's excited at the same time. She's leading off her team for the vault for the first time.
And there's an excitement. Here she comes.
Nice Yurchenko full. Not too bad for the first time.
Her first time ever, just a freshman.
Nice hurdle into the Yurchenko full. Sets, twists, finds the landing, and has a small hop there.
And that is Stevens' only event here tonight. It was a good one. Nebraska sending 5 all-arounders here tonight, mixing things up. Dusty Russell starting things off here for Minnesota. We saw her lead things off very effectively in the vault. She will try to do the same thing here on bars.
Russell starts off with a blind half into a blind full pirouette. Immediate bail to handstand. She hits that handstand there. That's really nice. Blind full pirouette into a double tuck, stuck dismount for Russell.
And I love her reaction afterwards.
Here we see the blind full pirouette into the double tuck. Perfect knees together, perfect ankles together. Doesn't move those feet anywhere.
No, and she knew she held it, held it, held it. Coach loved it. The smiles and high fives all around.
Great leadoff routine for Minnesota.
How about going back to the vault? Desiree Stevens, a freshman, her first time ever competing on that event, a 9.825. Her teammate, Brittany Skinner, next up.
Brittany is a first-team All-American on vault in 2010. She made the event finals. And currently ranked 7th on this event.
Here she comes.
Yurchenko full. Small hop with both feet there, but she really stretches that layout.
She competed in all-around the first time last weekend because of turf toe that kept her out.
Here we see the block, a little twisted on the block on the table already. That's common for some gymnasts. And we see the small hop on the landing there.
Skinner will wait for her score. Meanwhile, Dusty Russell on the bars leading off with a 9.75, ties her season high. Here is Jen Covers, the freshman.
Starts off with an uprise handstand, which is a little different than most hip cast handstands. You see the overshoot there. Gearing up for a tough dismount. She has a double layout. Moves her feet just a little bit. But nice routine all in all.
So the freshman delivers for Minnesota. Going back and looking at that dismount.
See the giant preparing. Beautiful body position in the air. And just has a little stutter step there.
Emily Wong on deck here for Nebraska on vault. Her teammate Brittany Skinner recording a 9.85 just before her.
Wong's career high on this event is a 9.875.
Wong, one of the 5 all-arounders you'll see here for Nebraska. Just a sophomore.
Beautiful Yurchenko full. Very clean vault.
What do you mean by clean?
It was just pretty. It was nice on the eyes to watch. Her body shape was beautiful. Her amplitude off the table was very pretty. Toes are pointed, legs are together the whole time, and she knows exactly where she is.
And the place erupted, at least the Nebraska side erupted right when she landed. They knew it was a good one. Kayla Slechta, she tied her season high last weekend on bars.
Kayla has beautiful handstand work, as you can just see in her first 2 handstands. That's a bail to an immediate toe shoot. Major release move is that Tkachev right there. And she gears up, blind full pirouette into a double tuck. Dismount.
Go back and look at those handstands that you liked, Kylie.
She almost holds it there for a second before she, right there as well.
And go back to the dismount.
Blind full into the double tuck. Everything is squeezed in the air, and she fights for that landing.
And the reaction, Slechta and her teammates. We'll wait on Slechta's score. Going back to the vault, Janelle Giblin, a first-team All-American, a junior. A very good vault performer for the Huskers.
Not only is she ranked first on uneven bars, she's ranked 2nd in the country on vault.
And that is why, folks.
nailed that landing. Beautiful Yurchenko full and just planted her feet into the ground.
She makes it look so easy.
I guess when you're second in the country, we see a nice block and doesn't move her feet. Here's the side angle. Beautiful body position in the air. And you see Coach Dan in the corner there, raising his hands up. He's happy.
Dan Miller, a first-year assistant for the Huskers. Very active with the vault and the floor. Go back to Sierra Thompson, a freshman. Another one of those freshmen competing for the Gophers.
Sierra Thompson.
And an all-arounder here from Minnesota.
Sierra went 9.75 last weekend. Sky high to Kachev. She had a long time in the air before she re-grabbed that bar. Blind full pirouette into a blind half. Immediate overshoot. Straight body handstands for Sierra. And blind full into a double pike. Almost stuck dismount. Had to take a little bit of a step there. All in all, very pretty routine to watch.
And how about this hang time?
Woo! Wow.
That looks like fun.
She's high up there.
Hope she's not scared of heights.
Blind full into her double pike dismount. Just has to barely move that right foot there.
A fun routine to watch. Jamie Schleppenbach, another first-team All-American, so he had back-to-back first-team All-Americans in this lineup. Janelle Giblin and then Jamie Schleppenbach here from Nebraska. Just a sophomore, here she comes.
Her career high is a 9.95 on this event. That was a very pretty vault.
Nebraska is coming to play.
Watch how she rises in the air. She definitely has some nice height and nice distance off of the table.
Well, we'll have to wait for her score. Coach is pretty happy with that. Giblin before her, she got her season high, a 9.95. We'll wait on Schleppenbach's score. She gets a hug from the headman. Janelle Campbell, performing in 2 events here tonight. We'll see her here on the bars. We'll see her again on the floor. Out of Wisconsin, a junior.
Coach says Janelle has a new release move that she hasn't used yet. She's been doing the more simple version of her routine without the Delchev that she's just waiting to compete. Starts off on the high bar with a tail hop into a full twisting pirouette, bail handstand.
Meg Stevenson says she is very strong on the bars. Takes that little step forward.
It's a very tough dismount there. It's an Arabian double front. Stays in that tuck position a little bit too long, in my opinion.
Take another look at that dismount.
Half into a double front. And if she opened up a little bit sooner, she might not have had that low chest on the landing, causing her to take that step forward.
Jessie DeZiel, the freshman phenom, she tied for first place in the vault last weekend with her teammate, Janelle Giblin. Jamie Schleppenbach recording a 9.9 just before DeZiel. The Minnesota native, here she comes.
Jessie has a more difficult vault. She adds an extra half twist, and she nails it. It's harder than a full, but that's why she's doing that vault, because she knows how to execute it.
Here we go, Jessie.
Currently ranked 9th in the country on vault. Rises off the table. That's a full and a half twist in the air.
And she is putting on a show for her family and friends here. Come to watch her here in Minnesota.
Vault.
Over at the bars, Lucy Ennis is the anchor. She had her season best on this event last weekend. 9.725 in the first event on the vault.
Lucy's currently ranked 12 in the Big Ten on bars. Starts off here with a blind change into a piked Jaeger. Immediate overshoot. Very nice combination there. A little balance check, getting up on her squat arm. And a double layout dismount. A little bit of a body alignment adjusting, I could say. She was a little bit piked at one point, but then opened it up on her second flip in the dismount. That's the bail overshoot. And we see she just maybe had a little mistake with her foot there on the low bar.
And the dismount, Kylie?
Hiked in the first flip, arches on the second flip. Lands with her chest a little bit low, causing her to take that step backwards. But all in all, a great routine for Lucy.
Well, she won this event last weekend with the Best of Minnesota meets. She will wait on her score. Meanwhile, the freshman over on vault for Nebraska, Jessie DeZiel, recorded a season high, a 9.95. That is a season high score for the Huskers. So you're looking at, we have 2 rotations to go. Coming up, you're looking at them, floor and beam, right around the corner.
I'm Dusty Russell. I'm from Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and being a Gopher is the most amazing feeling ever. So go Gophers! My name is Kayla Selecta. I'm from Shakopee, Minnesota, and being a Gopher is just an incredible opportunity and experience, and being in Nebraska would just mean everything to our team. And the coaches are amazing, and the team is even better, and let's go Gophers!
I love the energy. You can always hear from the Gophers or the Huskers or even BTN personalities. You can also get programming information and much, much more. Follow BTN on Twitter and on Facebook today. After 2 rotations, we're halfway done. It's flying by. 2 more rotations to go. Get you caught up on what happened in that second rotation, and we start on the vault. And man, Nebraska was good, Kylie.
They were on fire today. You see 4, 9, 9 and above scores there. Great vaults, very dynamic event
the
for
Huskers
Nebraska.
Ranked 3rd in the country in this event, and you can see why. Over to the bars, Minnesota. At least 4 gymnasts tied or set a new season high on this event, led by the senior, Lucy Ennis.
She had a great routine, so did the rest of Minnesota. What impressed me, I think, was Campbell's dismount. That Arabian double front was very impressive.
And she recorded the 9.8 on that, tying a season high. So this is where we stand, too, after 2 rotations. Nebraska still pacing Minnesota. And what do you look forward to in here, Kylie, when you look forward to this 3rd rotation? Minnesota will be on the beam and Nebraska on the floor.
This is the exciting event, beam and floor. You have a little bit more time to show your personality and more fun to watch, too.
Meg Stevenson's Minnesota gymnastics team will begin here on the beam. And Sierra Thompson will start that off. She's a freshman. Take a look at the Huskers head man, Dan Kendig, who told us he's really excited to be a part of this Big Ten conference. He's got his loyalties, though. He's got to be honest, he's still a little bit sad because he's losing some of those friendships, and they won't see a lot of those teams in the Big 12 he's normally used to competing against.
Said he's looking forward to next year when he does have to meet every team in the Big Ten Conference. He'll feel like he's more a part of the program when he has to see every team.
It's right. Nebraska this year, even though a part of the Big Ten, had Iowa State, Missouri, Oklahoma on its schedule. I mean, take a look here at Sierra Thompson. And one of those freshmen. She's an all-arounder.
Sierra's been in and out of the beam lineup this year. She competed in exhibition a couple times. And last weekend, somebody was out sick, and she nailed her routine, so she's back in.
And sometimes that's all it takes, is a coach needs to see what you do in an exhibition routine.
You must have to prove yourself.
It can affect what you do the following weekend.
Started off with a punch front there. Little wobble, but she pulled it off.
As a freshman, her coach says that she's steadily improving here.
Nice jump split full. I think her back leg could be up a little bit higher to show that 180-degree split in the air.
Just one of 3 all-arounders here from Minnesota here tonight.
Solid flight series. That was a back handspring layout step out. Gears up for a cat jump to a switch side leap.
And not too many balance checks here in this routine.
The only major one I've seen so far was on that very first skill, the punch front. Other than that, she's been solid up there.
And the dismount solid as well.
She stuck that front full in warm-ups, I saw it, and
she stuck it there.
Continued it into her competition routine.
Sometimes that's all you need is the confidence and warming up to have it translate here in the actual routine.
Here's a back handspring layout step out. Her back leg is a little bit loose in that. Might be a small deduction.
Here's that dismount.
Front full, laid out, and a stick. She has to think about it. And she shows the judges that she's not going anywhere.
And we go to the floor. Now, we were watching Nebraska compete here and warm up here on the floor, and all of their music routines, I looked at you and I said, you know what, this is going to be fun. They have a lot of fun music here that they're competing to.
Fun music and entertaining routines. Starts with a double pike there. Very dynamic. She actually went out of bounds last weekend. Let's see if she can stay inside of the lines today.
Jamie Schleppenbach, powerful on the floor, Dan Kindig says.
Very powerful. That was a front layout to a front full and got very close to that white line there.
I was going to say, flirting with that, which remind the viewers is what if they step out of bounds?
1/10 for every step you take out of bounds. Jamie's career high on this event is a 9.875.
Kind of settling into her role as an all-arounder. Dan Kindig says she gears up for her final pass.
Front Rudy, that's a front layout, full and a half twist. Great lead-off routine for Nebraska on the floor.
Very solid for Schleppenbach. Very solid for Nebraska. The sophomore delivers. Take a look at one of her passes here, Kylie.
Front handspring. This is her second tumbling pass. Front layout to the front layout full. She scoots a little bit to the side. Maybe she dropped her shoulder a little bit on that front full, causing her to take a step sideways out of that flip.
Brianna Jones, she's a captain. This is her lone event here for Minnesota. You'll see her competing on.
She had her season and career high last weekend with a 9.775. That's a beat jump into a tuck full. Slight balance check on that jump right there.
How much are judges looking to deduct on balance checks?
You know, the deductions vary. Depends on what judges you have and depends on how big your balance check is. Anywhere from a quarter tenth, half tenth, full tenth, or if you're almost falling off of the beam and waving your arms around, it could be up to 4/10 or so. Here's her flight series, back handspring layout, step out, Had a little arm swing on that. She has the experience. Doesn't look like she's 100% confident up there. I think the first bounce check may have led her to second guess herself on the rest of these skills.
How can you tell?
She just looks a little nervous in her face. Nice dismount though, that was a gainer full. Finished up nicely, no falls, just a few balance errors.
We'll take another look.
It's a side aerial.
And her dismount.
Gainer full, implants those feet into the ground. Nice 2 first beam routines from Minnesota.
Going over to Nebraska, Brittany Skinner, who had a career high in this event last weekend, a junior, an all-arounder. Say that a lot with Nebraska.
This was one of the routines we were watching in warm-up saying, this is going to be a fun one.
A small music error here.
Must have just played the wrong song.
I think you jinxed her, Kylie.
Well, now this one is going to be entertaining.
You know, actually, I was joking with Nebraska assistant Heather Brink, who was actually controlling this music on the iPod. I said, that's kind of an old-fashioned iPod. It was one of those that looked like as big as a walkie-talkie. She's like, you know what? It's that head coach gives me.
Beautiful double pike. The music error didn't affect her at all. Here we go, it's a little music change, getting her in a different mood.
And you can see her playing off her teammate. Here over on the side is doing the routine with her.
A lot of teams do that, like to learn each other's dance moves. That's a 1.5 punch tuck front. She actually took a step out of bounds there. That'll be 1/10 deduction.
Well, she likes to play to the crowd a little bit. Her coach even says she's very entertaining on the floor. And trying to get this building behind her.
Final tumbling pass. Double tuck, sky high. Teammates are clapping along over there.
Brittany Skinner. It was kind of fun.
It was very fun. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
We come with one of Skinner's passes.
This is her first tumbling pass. She starts off with a very high double pike. Nice landing. And here's the 1.5 punch tuck front. I'm not sure if that was supposed to be a front layout, and that's what caused her to go out of bounds, was the front flip. She was in a different position in the air and had to take that step out of bounds. That will affect her score by 1/10.
But just the one step that the judges looked at. Kayla Slechta. Over on the beam for Minnesota, her teammate, Brianna Jones, recording a 9.7 before her. Only event here tonight.
Season and career high last weekend with a 9.8. Back handspring layout, step out, beautiful. No movement on that flight series.
Slechta says she's not doing it here, but she says sometimes I pretty much talk to myself and go through the cue words.
A lot of girls like to use those keywords with every new skill they do. Helps balance their thoughts so they're not thinking anything negative while they're up there. That was a nice punch front. Had to take a little step forward. And we see a fall from Kayla, which is not like
Typical.
her.
Right. What did you see happen there?
It was on a simple jump. She had a straddle 3/4 and just looked like she was leaned backwards.
Here's a gymnast who recompeted. There's another balance check there, but competed at Nationals last year. a huge confidence boost because she really went toe-to-toe against Utah and really performed well against a powerhouse program. And a step there in the dismount.
4.5 dismount. The rest of Minnesota's team is going to have to cover up from this mistake, but I think they can do it. Here we see her flight series, back handspring to a layout step out. Very solid.
And here was her fall.
She has a pike jump into a straddle 3/4 there. Looked like she almost straddled too early, and she was just not on top of the beam when she came down.
So an uncharacteristic performance by Kayla Slechta. As you said, the Gophers will have to rebound from that. Meanwhile, we head back over to floor. Janelle Giblin, a junior, waiting on her turn. As we're still waiting on Brittany Skinner's score, who went before her.
I can't think of anything unless I went back and watched her entire routine. I know that that might not have been as much bonus because she did a tuck front instead of a possible layout front or a layout full. It's a 9.9 start value we see there. So something was off with that middle pass.
Meanwhile, while we wait on Skinner's score, we'll watch Janelle Giblin here perform.
Giblin starts off her routine with a nice double pike. Chest up on the landing and all. Front full into a pike front. Has a big smile on her face. Nebraska's ranked 2nd in the nation on floor currently.
They actually had a season high last weekend. All 6 competitors recorded a 9.7 or above.
Has some unique work on the floor here. Career high is a 9.85 for Janelle on floor.
Dan Kendick says she has another gear when it comes to competing. I think it shows.
Ended there with a 4.5 punch front half. Landed a little bit short, but all in all, a great cover-up routine after that last routine from Skinner.
We go back and look at Giblin.
You see her third tumbling pass here. Round off, sets for the 4.5 twist, and has a layout half combination out of that. Pretty landing.
Let's get it.
Okay, so Giblin will wait on her score. Kylie Sherman, a freshman.
Now up on
2 events tonight.
Kylie Sherman.
Only a freshman in her club career. She made the JO National Championships for club 3 times in high school.
But a little bit of pressure here on the freshman's shoulders with Slechta not getting the score that she wanted, a 9.075.
That's a very difficult flight series right there that we just saw. It's a 3 series. She did a back handspring, layout, step out, and stayed on. So that's a good thing.
Remember, they record 5 of the top 6 scores here, so they can throw out Slechta's if Minnesota performs here in the final 3 routines.
Which they're very capable of doing here. Sherman has been pretty solid on beam this season. And ends with a very difficult double tuck dismount. Chest a little bit low on the landing, but that's a very difficult routine for Sherman.
The chest low on the ending, would that affect the step back? on the dismount?
Yes, a little bit. We see it here, the double tuck. Sucks in a little bit instead of rotating backwards. She doesn't get the distance off of the beam, but overall, very difficult, very nice routine. Exactly what they needed after Slechta's mistake.
Kylie Sherman will wait on her score. Emily Wong is now up on 4. She had a career high. Her teammate, Janelle Giblin, recording a 9.8 before her.
She won floor last weekend at their meet. Very powerful double pikes. It takes a pretty big step out of that first pass. She almost had too much power.
And she is a performer. Just watch her face, her facial expressions, a lot of energy in this routine.
Nice height on her jump series there. The judge is right in front of her there. She's
playing to the camera and the judges a little bit.
Exactly.
She comes on a pass.
Front pull to a front layout. Executes it flawlessly. We got a little music change here. This is her slow part of her routine. A lot of gymnasts have in there to take an extra breath if they need to.
Pacing set by the music pacing. Dan Kendick said, I am so impressed with her. It's her second year, and I have not seen her have a bad day. With that kind of smile, it's hard to see, too.
Ends with a front Rudy, chest up and all. Great routine for Wong.
Loves to perform on the floor. Hug from her coach, Dan Miller.
And we're seeing her first tumbling pass. Nice set. Pretty form in the air, but stays in that position a little bit too long. If she were to open up a half a second early, I think she would have planted those feet in the ground and not have to take that big of a step back.
Words of wisdom from Dan Kendick. Head back over to Dusty Russell. You can hear the PA announcer, roll that R. I'm not that talented, Kylie, don't ask me.
Me either, I can't roll my R's. Starts off with a unique split jump there, shows her flexibility. I can't do that.
I was going to say, what's
Never
the advantage?
have been able to.
What's the advantage of starting that way?
Just shows the judge, hey, I have a unique routine. It's just something different than a standard every other skill that every other gymnast mounts with.
If you can't do something that Kylie Calora can't do, it's pretty good, I think.
Well, I just wasn't the most flexible gymnast, so.
Oh, please.
That's a side aerial, very solid. She looks confident up there. It's exactly what she needs to be thinking in order to make it through this routine as well as the final competitor.
Again, remember, Minnesota has to come strong. Kylie Sherman, the freshman, performed well. Dusty Russell here on the beam. She will be followed up by Shannon Golich.
You just saw a one-arm handstand move. That's another element that she adds to her routine that just shows the different skills she can do.
So a lot of creativity here in this routine.
Ends with a cartwheel to a gainer full, step dismount. Great performance for Minnesota.
She can't wait to greet her teammates. Solid start to finish. Dusty Russell. You see this? Boom!
Split.
Ouch, that looks like it hurts.
Looks like the front leg comes off a little bit, but it still was really cool move to me. And her stuck gainer full dismount. That's going to be a big score for Minnesota.
Well, Minnesota needs it. Dusty Russell coming through big time and a big time smile. Jessie DeZiel has had a solid performance here tonight so far. Man, look at those scores on bars and vault. Trying to come through here on floor.
Jessie has a very difficult first tumbling pass. It's a pike pull in. Nice and high in the air. A little bit of leg separation in that second flip. But a very difficult move.
DeZiel has won the all-around 4 times so far this season. Remember, she's just a freshman.
2.5 punch front. And Lisa, the only time she did not win the all-around was when her teammate Laura beat her.
Evanstad, yes.
Jessie has competed on the international level before coming to college, and it's kind of cool to see her taking that competition experience with her and figuring out how to use it to her advantage as a freshman at the collegiate level.
And this Nebraska team, I'm telling you, they know these routines. They are doing it with every gymnast. Here comes DeZiel, the final pass.
Ends with a double pike dismount. Coach says she started the season ending with a front Rudy and just added that double pike for the 3rd pass recently. I thought it looked excellent.
DeZiel, pretty excellent here tonight. We'll go back and look at the first pass.
Focus in her face, does the roundoff. Gets off of her hands really nice in that full in. You can see it rise. And has her chest in a great body position when she lands.
Shannon Golich will wrap things up as the anchor spot for Minnesota. You thought her teammate Dusty Russell would get a solid score on a 9.75 season high for Russell.
Great score to go with a great beam routine. I think she deserved that score.
Talk about unique. How about that?
I don't know who's teaching them these skills, but
not Kylie Kalorick, that's
not
for sure.
me. Golich is currently ranked 4th in the Big Ten on balance beam. Switch leap to a straddle quarter. Very solid.
And her coach said, you know, she had an upper leg injury. You can see that brace on her right leg. She has a little balance check there, but it was an injury that her coach said we had to baby again.
She said she's so important to this team on all the events she does, so they don't want to injure it more. It's nice to have her be getting back into these lineups again.
Very good on vault, beam, and floor.
This is one more jump before her dismount. It's a split full. Shows nice form and lines in that split jump. Watch this dismount. She's going to do her flight series into her dismount. Back handspring, layout step out, into a layout full, and sticks the dismount. The only balance check we saw there was on that standing layout, but all in all, a great routine, and they can throw out select a score now.
Very important. Minnesota coming through their final 3 gymnasts.
That's her layout step out balance check. I'm sure Kayla's on the sideline biting her nails that she stays on, and here we see her dismount. Layout full, doesn't move her feet. And the whole Minnesota team is on the sidelines cheering for
Talk
that
about
routine.
the difficulty when your flight series leads into your dismount.
That was actually my flight series last year. Difficult, but sometimes it's easy. It's nice to get both things out of the way, the series and the dismount, all in one punch.
We'll see Jennifer Lauer here for the first time tonight. She is a twin. Twin sister is on the team, and she makes it easy on the coach because Jennifer has the darker hair, and her sister has blonder hair, so to speak. Her sister Amanda.
I'm bad at telling twins apart, so I think the hair helps me even. Starts with a nice double pike. Has only competed in 3 competition on floor exercise. Iowa State, Missouri, and against Oklahoma.
See Jennifer Lauer even lead off here on beam too, so getting some extra work. The one person who we don't see is Laura Evanstad, who's ranked number 2 in the country on floor. As we mentioned at the top, they just pulled Evanstad from that all-around competition just to make sure she's healthy. But that gives a gymnast like Jennifer an opportunity to compete.
It does. They're just resting Laura this weekend, taking her off on all of the events that really pound your legs, vault, beam, and floor exercise, just resting her. They need to have those top performers at the end of the season. Resting her this weekend is helping the success of Nebraska's team in the long run.
Now we're trying to finish things off strong.
That was a 1.5 to a front layout. Great routine.
She gets her chance, and she comes through. Jennifer Lauer.
Here we see her third tumbling pass, a 1.5 to a front layout step out.
Lauer gets a few remarks from Dan Miller and a smile. She knew she took advantage of her opportunity. So now we have 3 rotations down. 1 more to go. Nebraska, Minnesota coming up. Beautiful sights of downtown Minneapolis. This week on BTN.com. Don't miss any exciting action. Go to video.btn.com this week and check out our upcoming schedule. Again, that's video.btn.com for more information. Taking a look at the beam results for Minnesota. The Gophers needed to rebound. Thereafter, Schlechter did not get the performance that she wanted, and they came through solidly there at the end. And the floor for Nebraska without Laura Ebenstad, their top floor performer. Insert Jennifer Lauer. She came through, so did the rest of the Huskers. So far now, after 3 rotations, here is what the team standings look like. Of course, we got 1 more rotation to go. Minnesota performing solidly. So is Nebraska, pacing the way. And your update on the all-around race here tonight. Talk about that freshman, Jessie DeZiel, performing in front of family and friends, a Minnesota native. Man, if she put up big numbers, what would she do here for beam? The Gophers head coach Meg Stevenson joining us, and coach, after Kayla Schlechter, didn't have a characteristic performance for herself on the beam. What can you say about the final 3 gymnasts to do what they did, performing solidly there on that event?
Well, you know, the pressure's really on if we have a miss, so I was really proud of them to get out there and do what they know how to do. They were a little tentative, of course, and that's not uncommon, but they didn't give in, and they really worked hard and finished up strong, especially the last 2 performers.
Coach, last weekend you had Jones in your floor lineup. This weekend you have Campbell in your floor lineup. What should we expect to see from her and the rest of your team to finish out this meet?
Well, what's really nice is that we have depth on our floor lineup, and so we're giving Janelle a chance to get out there. This is a new routine for her this year, and we had her go exhibition last weekend, so we'll see how she does when it counts, but she's a beautiful performer. I think the fans will really enjoy her routine.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Thank you very much.
For sure.
Take a look at the beam lineup coming up for Nebraska. Jennifer Lauer, who had that solid performance there on the floor. She was the anchor for Nebraska. She gets to lead things off here for the Huskers. Over to Minnesota's floor routine, starting out with the freshman, Sierra Thompson, followed by Schlechter, who certainly wants another go at it after not performing the way she would want there on the beam. Sherman Campbell, Russell, and Golich round things off for the Gophers. The start of our 4th rotation, Nebraska's Jennifer Lauer, just a freshman. This is the first time in her career she gets to perform in this event.
I'm sure she's excited and nervous at the same time. It's a tough spot for just a freshman in your first time in college gymnastics competing in the leadoff spot.
We joked that she had a twin sister here on the team, and Dan Kendick said, I have twin nieces. I couldn't tell them apart. So it's good that they have different hair colors here to make it easy on me.
And that was a nice flight series. One arm back handspring to a layout step out. She looks collected up there. Switch leap into a little bobble on her ring jump.
Lauer getting some big-time opportunities here. The anchor on the floor, lead off here on beam.
Beam being known as the most nerve-wracking event. She looks very collected up there for it being her first time.
I would say so. I bet you Sis likes that one. Take a look at the replay.
We see her round off, full and a half dismount. Nice body position in the air, and she sticks it.
Yes, she does. The judges give her a 9.75 on that one. You can see Heather Brink, who's a first-year assistant, giving her a high five. Over to the floor. Minnesota, the home team, gets to wrap things up on this event. Sierra Thompson.
Thompson has a nice variety in her tumbling. We're about to see. Starts off with a double pike. Beautiful landing.
Thompson out of Jacksonville, Florida.
She's actually, I read, the first student from her high school to earn a collegiate athletic scholarship in any sport. I read it was a private school, but good for her. That's impressive.
Absolutely.
Front layout to a front full. I said nice variety in tumbling. Her first tumbling pass, she had 2 flips. Her second tumbling pass, she was going forwards and did a front layout, front full. Her last tumbling pass, we're going to see her twist backwards with a 2.5 twist.
Here it comes.
And lands it nicely. A lot of girls, when they find something that works for them, they like to stick with it. If they like to flip, they have probably 2 passes that they use those strengths for.
Thompson still experimenting, excuse me. Here's on the first pass for the freshman.
You see the
Sorry, that's the last pass.
Nope, that's the first pass. Double pike. Nice landing.
I'm ahead of myself. Now here's the last. The first to last, Kylie.
2.5 twist. Beautiful form in the air. Legs stay together the whole time, and great lead-off routine for Thompson.
Speaking of great lead-off routines, Jennifer Lauer had one. I mentioned the 9.75 on the beam. And Jamie Schleppenbach, the sophomore, her final event here tonight.
Jamie's career high is a 9.85 on the beam. Starts off with a cat leap to a front aerial.
If there really is an Achilles heel for this Nebraska team, it has been beam. Oh,
I think you jinxed him, Lisa.
May have Schleppenbach with a hard fall there. Now, the Huskers fell twice last weekend. And had to rebound nicely in the tail end of that rotation.
They did have a season low last weekend, so hopefully with this routine, they can throw out the score and have a solid next 5 performances.
How much does that play? Right. How much does that play mentally when you know that as a team, not just individually, but as a team, this is probably an event you struggle with?
I mean, it depends on the mental strength of the rest of the gymnasts that have to go. If you let it affect you, it's going to.
So Schleppenbach with that fall.
Here we see the cat leap into the solid front aerial. I always like that skill. Shows it's a pretty move.
And here's that fall. What did you see happening here, Kylie?
I'm not sure really. She looks a little off balance on the back handspring. And when the first flip, something goes wrong, something's definitely going to go wrong on the second flip.
And here's her dismount.
Front full laid out. And she finishes nicely, which that does matter. Finishing your routine as clean as you can, even if you do have a mistake early on.
So Nebraska kind of in the same situation Minnesota was in on the beam. Needs a final gymnast to come through strong here. Kayla Slechta was the one who did not record the score she wanted for Minnesota on the beam. She would love to finish out with a strong performance here on floor. Tied her season high last weekend.
She's ranked 16th in the Big Ten currently on floor exercise.
Says her idol is Shannon Miller. Watched her in the '96 Olympics. Even though I was 4 years old, she says she still remembers it.
That was a front double twist for Kayla's first tumbling pass.
Always wanted to be a gopher. And Coach Stevenson kind of joked, ironically, she was the last to commit to that class.
We just saw a full and a half to a punch front layout for Kayla's second pass. You see some mats on the floor there, and her ankles taped. I would assume it's just for some extra cushion on those landings. It's only an inch or 4 inches of mat, but
makes a difference.
Goes a long way.
Slechta preparing for that final pass.
Ends with a front handspring, front Rudy. Really made up for that mistake on beam with a outstanding floor performance for Kayla and Nebraska and Minnesota. I'm sorry.
You can see her reaction kind of in that final pass too. It was almost kind of a relief. Oh, I got it. Because you know, as a competitor and the kind of gymnast that she is, she wanted to rebound. She gets a hug from the head coach. She did that. Look at her first pass here of her routine.
Starts off with a front handspring, front double full, 2 twists and a front flip.
Just couldn't help it.
And her final pass, and just if we can see her reaction in her face, relief.
Front Rudy, and she's smiling when she picks her head up.
Whew.
Sometimes you just feel like you almost let your team down when you fall. I know how that feels, and she just wants to make her team know what she's capable of and how she can help them.
Speaking of teams rebounding, Nebraska is going to have to do that. Brittany Skinner, the first of the 4 remaining gymnasts here on beam for Nebraska. Well, Jamie Schleppenbach recorded the 9.25 after the hard fall on her routine. Pressure now for Skinner, Giblin, Bazile, and Wong, who finishes off this event for Nebraska.
Woo! I think this is a good spot for Skinner to be in. It's a risky punch front mount there that you just saw.
I would say risky is a good word.
She's an aggressive beam worker. It's a back handspring layout step out. She is a second-team All-American on beam last year, so that has to give her some confidence while she's up there. Saw a switch leap to a straddle quarter there.
Well, aggressive, again, is the word to use. That's what Coach told us. She's very aggressive on beam. How does that affect it when the coaches or when the judges see something like that, when a gymnast gets after it right from the start?
That's just her personality on beam. Everybody has a different flow, different mental strengths, and talent strengths on beam. And that's just how she works. She's an aggressive worker.
Skinner and Nebraska needed a big performance. You got it.
About to see her risky mount here. Punch front, you have to be perfectly square with the beam. She's obviously done that plenty of times before.
You think? You don't think that was her first time?
And here's her gainer pike dismount. Most girls, when they do their gainers, they go off the side of the beam. She actually goes off the end of the beam, which is a little bit different. And she nails it. It's exactly what Nebraska needed.
Yeah, we'll wait on her score. Meanwhile, Kylie Sherman from Minnesota on the floor. Kayla Slepta rebounding nicely, a 9.85, tying her season high. Competing right before Sherman, who actually had a career high, tied her career high last weekend. Best of Minnesota.
I asked Coach Meg if they're going to have any upgrades on this event throughout the rest of the season, and she said they're pretty much doing the routines now that they'll be doing for the rest of the season, but hopefully you'll see more amplitude in the tumbling as well as clean form landings. Front Rudy to a punch layout step out. This is a more graceful routine.
Do you feel like that suits her and her style as a gymnast?
Yeah, she looks like she has pretty lines and is showing it off nicely, so I think it looks, the dance fits the personality. Second pass is a double pike. She looks it. She looks like she likes it. She has an expression on her face like she's happy with it. This is probably the part where she's taking those extra few breaths before her third tumbling pass.
And here it comes.
Dismounts with a double tuck, a little bit low chest on the landing. Might be a small deduction for that, but overall, a great routine for Minnesota.
Another freshman delivering. Sierra Thompson started things off on this event for Minnesota. Sherman coming through big time here on her first pass.
She opens with a front handspring, Rudy to a punch, back layout, step out.
Here's the second pass.
This is her double pike, I believe. Gets off of her hands nicely. Toes pointed throughout the air, which judges definitely look for.
And finishing things off.
This is the double tuck. Looks like she almost undercuts it a little bit, which I believe is why she has that low chest on the landing.
Kylie Sherman, freshman, will wait on her score. They head back over to beam. And Janelle Giblin is next, the junior. Before her, Brittany Skinner at 9.8 with that impressive routine there.
Janelle Giblin.
Giblin might be feeling some pressure here. She didn't have the best performance last weekend. She fell twice on the beam last weekend, so hopefully she did some adjusting in practice this week and is as confident as can be up there right now.
So a tough mental challenge, survives, stays on the beam there.
That was a very difficult flight series. Back handspring, layout, step out. A little bit off, but she used those toes and those feet to keep her up on the beam. That's a back handspring splash down, a pretty cool move. Cat leap into a side semi. Every skill she lands, her teammates are excited and clapping over there.
Well, they know they need to score. Giblin looking to finish things off strong.
2.5 dismount, a little hot, but she's happy with it. Her team is happy with it, and they're getting that much closer to being able to drop that score.
Yeah, and she saved herself real early in the routine from falling. with that balance check.
We see the very difficult flight series. Back handspring step out, back handspring step out, layout step out, and just comes down a little bit short.
Hangs on.
She stays on there though. Side flip. You see how skinny that beam is?
Is that tough?
That's tough to land a side flip like that, sideways on the beam.
4 inches wide.
And she's definitely using her toes, you can see up there.
Well, good for her. Giblin rebounding after falling twice last weekend, and her team needed her, and she came through.
4 down, 2 to go on beam.
Janelle Campbell, next for Minnesota on the floor. She performed on exhibition last week. And here she is as the 4th gymnast on this event.
Campbell is known as an extremely graceful classical dancer. Coach says they had to push her this year to try out a new funky routine. So we'll see what it looks like.
We'll look for funky.
Nice double pike there for the opening tumbling pass.
Campbell taking Brianna Jones' spot. Senior captain, we saw her on the beam. This is Campbell's time to shine, though, for the moment.
Front layout to a front layout full. Beautiful second tumbling pass. I think it looks good on her. Coach says she was skeptical at the beginning, but I like it. I'm not the judge, though.
And as a gymnast, you really have to buy into the music and the routine for it to be effective.
Exactly.
You can see she's playing the crowd a little bit. Facial expressions are good.
Having fun out there.
She is.
You're always going to do better when you're enjoying what you're doing.
Absolutely. Here she comes.
4.5 to a stuck pike front. Awesome combination pass.
How about Campbell? Gets a standing out from some of the fans.
That's going to be a high score for Minnesota, Lisa.
They love it here at the Sports Pavilion. Meg Stevenson loves it too. A big hug from the head coach. Hello. It's worth a look back.
Here we see her opening tumbling pass, the double pike. Nice set, nice rise on that flip. A little bit of a flexed foot.
But some height on that.
Very high. And here's her front handspring, front layout to a front layout full. I think she had a little bit of a problem last weekend with that tumbling pass, but she nailed it.
And here's how she finished it off.
4.5 to a pike front stick. No movement on the feet there. No deduction on that tumbling pass whatsoever.
Oh, and I love it. A big hug from the head coach.
And you can hear the crowd cheering loud. I think she got a good score on that one.
The fans loved it. A 9-9 season high for Campbell. Jessie DeZiel. Talk about high scores. Janelle Giblin before her, a 9.725. But look at DeZiel's numbers all night long.
Career high on this event is a 9.9. Has been very consistent this year on this event.
She is 8th in the nation on beam.
Nice front aerial. Immediately into her back handspring layout step out. There was a little bit of a pause after the front aerial. I don't know if she'll get all of the connection bonus for that. When you pause for too long, sometimes they don't give you those bonus points.
DeZiel performing way beyond her freshman years. Really a gymnast that Nebraska has learned to count on here.
Cat leap into a kick over front. No wobbles on that. She looks solid up there. Round off into a 2.5 dismount. Very difficult dismount, and she nails it.
You heard her team erupt. Wow.
They're looking good. So far, so good. They only have one more to go.
Take another look.
This is the front aerial here, going into the back handspring layup step out. Came over the top a little bit sideways, so she had to recollect herself, get back on balance before she could do the back handspring layup step out.
And here comes her dismount.
Very difficult. We've seen a lot of full and a half twists off the end of the beam. Haven't seen a 2.5 twist, and she sticks it.
Wow.
Have a great day here, guys, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I know you wobble a little bit. I know your head that didn't feel good.
How happy is Dan Kendig that she is a Husker? Minnesota native, she's got family here, and man, has she put up some big-time numbers tonight. Dusty Russell in the 5th spot for Minnesota.
Dusty Russell!
Meg said her and Jenny Hansen, the assistant coach, work with the athlete to figure out their floor music and their choreography. They try to give them a few options for the music and let them pick their favorite, which sounds like they could dance to most easily.
Yeah, they said that they give them 3 to 5 choices, and then they actually typically pick the ones that they would hope that they would pick, which they're obviously the coaches are happy about.
I'm sure the girls have a little bit of an insight on which music they want. I know a lot of other teams, the girls pick the music and bring it to the coach and say, this is what I want, and if the coach doesn't like it, she says, no, find me something new.
What did you do?
A lot of the Michigan girls picked their own music, but Bev had a lot of say-so in how it turned out. Nice second tumbling pass for Russell. That was a sky-high double pike. She has a lot of fancy moves like that, scales and those kind of dance moves that show her flexibility and grace in this routine.
Dusty Russell, another young gymnast from Minnesota, a sophomore.
Finishes with a whip to a double twist, almost sticks it, thinks about not moving her feet, but takes a step out of it, which is no deduction.
A lot of bounce, a lot of energy, and this Minnesota crowd loving it. Back-to-back form routines.
I think ever since they came back from that mistake on beam, they're just excited to be performing well and having fun in front of their home crowd today.
That's the advantage of having the home team finish off on floor.
Here we see her back handspring into her double pike. Opens up at the right time. She just drops out of the sky, knows exactly where she is.
Here's her third pass.
I like this whip into the double twist instead of a back handspring. Really gets height on that double full. Shows control of that landing as well.
And a little character, too. She's having fun with it. Dusty Russell waiting on her score. The $1 million smile. This crowd getting into it. Campbell's routine, Russell's routine. Emily Wong now the anchor for Nebraska on the beam. And the freshman before her, Jessie DeZiel. How about this? A 9-9 tying a season high. What a night for DeZiel, competing in the all-around. She She had won 4 all-arounds that I had mentioned Brazil has. I'd say
Most
pretty
likely
good
her
position
fifth
between
after.
number 5 tonight.
Coach says Wong is probably their best beam worker on the team. Most likely why she's anchoring the rotation.
Anchoring as a sophomore.
That mount was almost like a pommel horse from the men's program. They do that event. A little wobble on that flight series, but she stays up there. Wolf jump into a straddle full, which is called a popa.
Again, Nebraska need to finish off with 4 strong performances on this event.
Nails her switch side up there, and I believe all she has left is her dismount. Round off into a double twist, step dismount. They can forget about that fall early on in the lineup.
They can. Nebraska came through. Look at Wong.
Here we see her back handspring, layout, step out. Very difficult flight series. There's 3 flips involved. A little off balance, but she saved it. Here we see the double full dismount, perfect legs in the air, small hop on the landing. Overall, great 5 for 6 routines for Nebraska.
Yes, ma'am. The last 4 pretty solid. Shannon Golich wrapping things up for Minnesota here on the floor. Dusty Russell, a 9.85.
Down on the floor for the Gophers, Shannon Golich.
Golich, a 3-event gymnast here for Minnesota. Junior.
They competed floor 3 times this season. Here she starts off with a double tuck, sky high, and has a very nice landing.
Again, you see that brace on her right leg. It's because she had a muscle strain and upper leg injury there. Did not hurt her on the knee. Reported a 9.75 before this. Coach said she has a new floor routine. She missed the middle pass on floor last weekend.
We'll see how it goes right now. Front handspring, front layout to a front layout full. A little bit whippy. She didn't get a lot of height in those flips, but no mess up to me. Cool roll on the ground there.
Golich preparing for that final pass. Here it comes.
Ending with a round off back handspring double pike. Just as high and just as pretty as her first tumbling patch, which is the double tuck. 5, 6 solid routines for Minnesota on floor.
And the crowd especially loved those final 3. Here is Golich talking about that all-important second pass. She missed it last weekend. Here it is.
See the front handspring. Hands go up into the front layout full. Takes a little bit bigger step forward than she probably would have liked to. And we see her final tumbling pass. Round off, back handspring. Big set. Pretty legs in the air. Pulls herself around to finish off a great routine and a great night for Golich.
All right, that wrapped things up for Minnesota. That actually wraps things up here for the 4th rotation. Hugs all around for the home team and the Gophers. We're going to wrap things up when we return to Minneapolis. to spell Minnesota here in Minneapolis. The Gopher faithful happy that their squad performed awfully well here for Minnesota. As we look at the final results here of that fourth rotation, Nebraska's beam results there, what was key is that the Huskers had to rebound from Jamie Schleppenbach's score there at 9-5, and the Huskers did it. The final four gymnasts coming through in strong fashion. Floor results for Minnesota. Really strong, top to bottom. 9-9 for Campbell. Lowest score for Golich at 9-8.
Pretty impressive floor showing for Minnesota.
A solid home showing here in front of the home crowd for Minnesota. Here's your final team standings. Nebraska coming away with the win. And the Huskers head man, Dan Pendig, joining us now. And Coach, another strong performance by your team, another strong performance by your freshman too, Jessie DeZiel. And in front of returning as a Minnesota native, how does she, what did that mean to her here to come here tonight and do what she did?
I'll tell you what, I think she's had plenty of practice competing up here. In fact, the USA Championships are up here, and it was something special. She's just a rock star to be able to continue to hit routines all year long, and to have such a crowd here and a following and friends and family and be able to do what she did tonight. We're so proud of her.
Coach, your next three competitions are with three top 5 schools, Utah, Arkansas, and Florida. How do you plan to use this win and go home and prepare for your up-and-coming meets?
I think the biggest thing we'll take from this meet is the fact we started off strong. That was our best vault of the year. But the one thing I'll really take away is the fact that we did have trouble on our second beamer team, but our next 4 up did what they needed to do. I think we grew up a little bit today, and I was happy with the outcome. We're better than this. We're just going to keep getting back and trying to get better and better and just take these next 3 weeks one at a time.
How much do you experiment here, Coach? I know you told us that we're going to put our best 6 gymnasts out there for every event. You did the 6 all-arounders last weekend. You juggled things up again. What can we expect here from Nebraska down the road?
You know what? I think if we stay healthy and we have some flexibility, I think that's the key right now, because we're in that a little bit over halfway point, and we've got a long way to go still. And so if we can have a little flexibility, and if somebody's a little sore and we can give them a break and maybe only lose a 10th out of the deal, we're going to do that. But we want the best team possible. Come Big Tens, come NCAA Regionals and NCAA Nationals.
So Laura's sitting out this weekend to rest her. When she's back in the lineups, how do you expect Nebraska to do from here on out?
Well, we did miss our number 1 floor girl today, and she is our number 1 floor person. And after we started off a little rocky there, I'm thinking, oh, my God, I wish we had her. But you know what? You just got to go with what you started with. And the one that replaced her, Jennifer Lauer, at the end of the lineup, did a great job for us and did what she needed to do and did what we asked her to do. And we're proud of her, and it gave her some valuable experience. And I think because of it, it made our team stronger.
All right, Coach, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And Nebraska improving to 9-0 here overall on the season. Taking a look at the all-arounds, we mentioned what Jessie DeZiel did. I mean, her numbers, Kylie, were fantastic tonight.
39.6 is a very high all-around number for her. If not her best, I'm not sure what her season best is so far, but this has to be close. Here we see her on bars, gearing up for a dismount. She does a tuck pull out and nails it. I think all of her landings today she's stuck. 1.5, pretty close to sticking. Her season high was a 39.575, and today she went 39.6, so this is the best she's done all season long.
And the freshman just keeps performing. She's our Alpha Factor athlete. Today's Alpha athlete is Jessie DeZiel. And speaking of the all-arounder joining us now, Jessie, tell me what it meant to do what you were able to do in front of some family and friends here tonight.
Going out there and having fun, having my team be behind me on all my routines and having them cheer me on through every routine that I did really helped. I knew that they were there, and they trusted me the whole time I was doing my routines. So it was a lot of fun being out there, and having all this home crowd in front of me was awesome. I couldn't have asked for a better meet.
Jesse, you have 5 out of 6 all-around titles now this year, only as a freshman. How do you stay cool under pressure?
Under pressure, I mean, I've done my routine so many times in the gym. I just come out here, I get a little nervous, but the nerves go away, and the nerves help me to my advantage.
What has caught you by surprise, if anything, here now that you're competing on the collegiate level? I know you've competed internationally. How do you compare all the different experiences that you've had to college gymnastics?
College gymnastics has definitely been an experience. I really like it. I know when I was at Team USA and club, it was a lot harder. College, there's a lot more cheering, and the girls are always there for you. If you do bad on an event, they're always there to pick you up or help you do better on the next event.
Well, a season and a career-high all-around score. A freshman, you don't look like a freshman. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And she gets her 5th all-around title. Man, the freshman is good, and man, did we see a pretty darn good dual meet between these two teams. The first time they went head-to-head, and we got to see it in Minneapolis. The splits, the competitions, and the little kids love it too. That'll do it from Minneapolis. Nebraska reigns victorious. For Kylie Kalorick, I'm Lisa Byington saying good night. It's been a presentation of BTN.